Hi. There were a lot of questions about part of this assignment where we were talking about needing to round a number to the nearest hundredths place. And I thought that we would take a quick minute to go ahead and explain this. So I've created a contrived example here where if you look, the 6.0 divided by 7 that I have right there, you can see that. That's going to return a really long decimal value that is something close to 0.6 or 0.86. So you can see how long that is there. And obviously, if we were going to round that, the ideal answer would be 0.86, right? That would be rounding it to the hundredths place. So let's go ahead and let's start coding here. So what I'm going to do, let's give this a second. All right, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to update GPA. And the very first thing I'm going to do, because I'm looking for the hundredths place, I'm actually going to just multiply the GPA by 100. And you'll see there's a method to my madness here. So this shouldn't be a surprise, right? It just moves the decimal point over 2 spaces. So now I have 85.7. Okay, so we're close. I know that I want, it should be 0.86. Right now I have 8.5 and it's isolated, but you see I have the 0.7 there. So what I'm going to do is pretty simple. Remember, we want regular old math rounding, which is 0.5 and up, we would round. And Java just does the chopping off the decimal point rounding, which we don't want. So one of the things that I can do is actually just adding 0.5 is part of my rounding calculation will go ahead and actually turn that into true math rounding. So here we go. All I'm doing here, I'm adding 0.5. Now if I run that again, you'll see now I have 8.6. Now who cares about the rest of that decimal? Because we're going to get rid of it. And you know how to get rid of it because you've seen this happen before. So how are we going to do this? Well, one of the things is we could just go and if we casted this as an integer, it would get rid of that decimal point, right? Okay, so let's do that. How are we going to cast it? I have that int, and again, remember the parentheses. We want to cast the entire thing. If I didn't put the parentheses around that math, it would just cast the GPA. So now I have 86.0. So I'm super close, but the answer is not 86. The answer is 0.86. So what do I need to do? Well, it's pretty easy, right? I'm right in here. Now, if I wasn't thinking, I would go and I would just divide it by 100, right? So let's do that. And what's that going to do? Well, it's going to return a 0 because it's an integer divided by an integer. So it's 86 divided by 100, which is 0. So if I put a 0.0 there, now run that again. Look at that, 0.86. All right, so we've actually accomplished the rounding to the nearest hundredths. I will add a little bit of fun code in here. So we'll capture the old GPA, store that for later on, and if I go ahead and we'll go ahead and just output these both to the command lines just so you can see it. My old value was blah, my new value is blah, and you'll see that I have an error here. Let's see if anybody sees it. Yep, misspelled system. So let's go ahead and try that again. There you go. So we've got the original value and the value rounded. Now there are lots of ways to do this. A lot of you use the math library, which has a rounding method in it. There are other ways of doing this, but this particular method, the multiplying, adding 0.5, and then dividing by that original number again, this is actually the preferred way that you're going to see over and over again on the AP exam, so we need to become familiar with it. All right, hope this is helpful. Talk to you later.